Hey fam, welcome to another episode of The Doors That We've Opened. I'm Blake McKay. I'm joined with my beautiful wife,
Bethany McKay.
And together we make up the McKay Group real estate team. This show is about faith, family, real estate, and lifestyle in the Middle Tennessee area. We hope that it encourages, inspires, and maybe motivates you in some way to do awesome things with your life. If you want to follow us a little bit closer, we're on Instagram at Nashville Top Realtor. We also have a really cool show out called Nashville Next Door. And if you do a keyword search on your streaming platforms for American Dream TV Network, you can see us there. If you need any help with social media, whatever the case may be, photography, videography, or studio sessions like this one, make sure you check out Clutch Socials and City Limit Studio. Thanks to Mitch and Hope for all of your help.
So come along with us on this episode of The Doors We've Opened.
Our episode today is essentially plugging our city. We are putting the word out there, the door that Nashville opens for you, because this place is really incredible. It's why we chose to move here 8 years ago. We were living in Chicago and we picked up a Tony Robbins book called Money. And in it, he stressed the importance of keeping more of what you earn can be a huge difference when it comes to building wealth or not. So the little subtle difference of something like state income tax,
property taxes,
these 1% to 10% differences in income can be a huge game changer for when it comes to increasing the amount of wealth that you're able to acquire as a family or as an individual. But and so that got the wheels turning because Tennessee is one of only a few states that doesn't have state income tax. And so we were looking at Tennessee, we were looking at Texas, and we were looking at the opportunity that Nashville had. And we kind of want to share with you some of the things that other people have figured out about the area.
Definitely a migration city.
Yeah, it's huge. There are still, we checked this out, we read this several years ago. The figure was 80 people a day.
Well, in 2020, moving. It was like 117 a day.
Yeah, but when we moved in 2017, it was 80 people a day, and that was astounding. That was people.
And they're saying that's still the case for 2025.
And it's still the case now. So it peaked at 120, and we've gone back down, but we're still got 80 people moving to the area. We're exploding in growth. And with that comes cool things like businesses moving here for labor force, really cool restaurants. And for anyone who's considering moving to the area, we wanted to break it down a little bit further. If you visited here or if you're thinking about visiting here, come check it out. And these are some of the things that we can give you a little sneak peek of. So what do we got, babe? What are some of the things that Nashville has that's really cool that either people know about that need emphasis or may not know about?
Well, so actually this morning I was reading an article. The business district in Nashville, actually, some of the buildings that recently just sold in August of 2025 took actually almost, well, not just almost, millions of dollars of loss from being sold from 2020 to 2025, millions and millions of dollars lost. So there are certain pockets of Nashville that if you just looked at that pocket, you would think Nashville housing market and businesses were crashing.
Okay.
It was actually astounding, and I don't have those figures in front of me right now. But Nashville as a whole is just so large and so diverse. When you look on a map, especially before we ever moved here, when I looked at a map, I was like, oh, it's not that big. But it's just so spread out that it really is that big. And a lot of people, they might live in another city and be like, I live in Nashville, but it's really not Nashville proper. They just probably live outside of the city and then commute in for work. And people know Nashville, so they say Nashville.
Sure.
But you have to look at job markets. That's kind of what I analyze, how well and the strengths of, low and unemployment, what types of jobs are moving here. And I mean, there's some big players in here. Okay, so Oracle They're moving their entire headquarters here. That's supposed to be done and finalized by 2030, which is supposed to open up 8,500 new jobs. Amazon, as we know, is already here, but they're expanding thousands of tech and operation roles. AEG presents is relocating its touring operations to Nashville Yards, which is a huge new development. And then Waymo and Lyft are launching their autonomous ride testing, which just blows my mind. We saw that in Austin, last month, and I was like, oh, heck no, I couldn't do that. And then my personal favorite, because I'm originally from California, In-N-Out Burger, which, yes, I'm a huge fan. I'm sorry. I love it. Maybe because I was raised on it, but I do think it's superior than all the other ones that are here, and the affordability aspect of In-N-Out. And I just read yesterday that the one in Lebanon is supposed to open, now I forget. It's either December 10th or December 12th. But the amount of people moving here, because they're not just opening up new restaurants. They moved their entire corporate offices here. Mm-hmm. So when we think about Nashville as a whole, I mean, the hospitality industry, the tech industry, and the healthcare are really probably the biggest three. And there's so much moving here. And with that, there's definitely pros and there's definitely cons. Even just like in the little city that we live in, that we were just filming for our TV show, Mount Juliet, nobody knew that it was going to explode that fast. And yeah, the city wasn't ready for it. The state wasn't ready for so much that hit. But okay, so you already touched on no state income tax, very low property tax. Utilities are much lower here. Healthcare is, I don't know. So I haven't actually delved into those numbers too much,
right. But yeah, we can't
then,
officially say, it's so much, the doctor's visit is so much cheaper
right.
here than
I
anywhere
will say
else.
Your car registration is definitely cheaper here.
Yeah.
Like my $50 car registration a year for my huge expedition probably would have been $450 in California. And I can say that because I used to live there.
Or $600 in Chicago,
right.
which we have experience with.
So, I mean, the cons, though, are because there is so many people moving here and because of the printing of money in 2020, as all other states felt, not just Nashville, that made housing prices rise considerably. And now they're kind of tapering. They kind of stayed like this, and now they are going down a little bit. Not a huge drop, not a crash, but, that is that is happening. But I want to talk about why people, so they move here mostly because of their jobs and because they want a different lifestyle. Let's talk about why people stay here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people stay here because in my opinion, the weather is, well, I don't even know if it's about the weather. We've got 4 seasons.
We've lived in them all.
Yeah,
so we're for us.
Yeah, I
do like all 4 seasons.
Yeah, it just depends on what your lifestyle is like. So I like the 4 seasons. I like that we've got a real spring, a real summer, a real fall, and a real winter. That's for me.
Usually.
That's still kind of wild for me because coming from Texas, we had over 100 degrees in a row, over 105.
For 60 days straight.
Well, over 100 days.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Over 105.
That's right.
And I would put Christmas lights up in 90-degree weather. So being on a hot roof when it's the middle of December, it doesn't feel like Christmas. And Chicago, we would have 8 months of bitter white cold.
Wind.
So between the hot and the cold, we've got a happy medium. It's like the Goldilocks and the 3 Bears. It's just right. I mean, our summers can be pretty humid and uncomfortable if that's an issue for you. But I really like that. I really like how green it is in the springtime. It's like fluorescent green as far as the growth here. And there's still not a lot of building that's happening. I know people say that people say like, oh, all of these towers and skyscrapers and new builds, there is progress for sure, but the sheer amount of natural spaces and environmental green that you get just driving around in the springtime, it is astounding to me. And I really like the growth personally. I really like the growth of opportunity that it brings. Obviously, it's a little self-seeking because more people coming here means they have to have more places to live. Yeah, and they usually talk to us about that.
Yeah, brings up a really good point because you said that a lot of people don't like all the building. But actually, as far as housing as a whole, and I'm talking multifamily, single family, rentals, actually buying a property, condos, all of it. Like, we need all of it.
Yep.
We need it all because there's not enough housing for the amount of people that are here. And so I am definitely pro all things affordable housing, even if it does mean multifamily rentals, because people need shelter, right?
Yep.
And people need something so that they can get into that next step of their job and or providing for a family or whatever. And so that's super important. Now, not everybody, I've heard that like the younger population, meaning like 20s, maybe early 30s, I've heard that it's actually kind of hard to make friends. In like the dating scene, I've heard is really, really hard. Maybe that's just the people that we're around and they're, I don't know if that's true as a whole, but for families, it's so easy to get connected here. And a lot of times I tell my families that are moving out of state, they're like, well, eventually we want property and eventually we want a little homestead because that's like the craze right now. Well, I always say, okay, well, eventually that's great. But moving into a neighborhood, I think as far as like meeting neighbors, meeting people, because a lot of families move here without knowing a soul, like a lot. We've helped a lot of families move here. And getting to know your village and having families around here, maybe eventually you can move off to acreage and that's great. But like if you don't have a community here, that can be hard. But there's so many things for families. Mm-hmm. And, people say people are nicer here. That's been our experience for sure. And it's interesting because like when we moved into our neighborhood, there was only a couple of unicorns that were actually like from here.
Born and raised.
A lot of them were migration families, but everybody was just so happy to move here and like those neighbors are still like, so I love them. I adore them, would do anything for us. Mm-hmm. And I feel like being the volunteer state that we are, especially when tornadoes and disaster has, happened. I feel that.
Yep.
I feel that. And I think that's why a lot of people move here as well as for the community to do life together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So people move here for all different kinds of reasons. Nashville has some really cool opportunities. What is fun that you think of that people should know about or that we've experienced?
Yeah. I mean, it's so diverse. So, of course, the music scene is huge, right? And like when we first moved here, we're like, we're going to be downtown, listen to music all the time.
Every weekend.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
We
don't do it.
We
don't do it. The only thing we do like writers rounds and listening rooms. That's definitely more of our vibe now. Mm-hmm. We just hosted a home concert. So, I mean, music here is plentiful. So there's always that, of course. And then
and the amount of people in the music industry and the amount of people that you meet in the music industry.
We know so many people.
It's so cool because we were having dinner at our friend's house the other night. This guy used to tour with Thomas Rhett, and he just pulled out his guitar and started showing our son some stuff, and that was a real treat.
Yeah.
Because he's an incredible musician.
Right.
And so that stuff just happens on the regular for us. Yeah.
There's plenty of that. And I actually want to do more house concerts because that was really fun. Mm-hmm. But with kids, I mean, there's tons of sports. Sports are big here. I would probably say I don't know if they're the biggest, but like baseball and football in our area is big. And then there's so many things for the girls, gymnastics, dancing, like pretty much any sport you want to do. Well, swimming, actually, it's funny. Even though we're both swimmers, we would have to drive a bit for the team that we would want our kids to be on. So swimming is definitely not as big as like for us as it was in California and Texas. Not yet anyways. But there's hockey, there's all kinds of stuff to do with kids. The schools here in Tennessee, especially in Wilson County, Sumner County, and Williamson County, one of the top rated schools. So a lot of people move here so they can put their kids into the public school. And then there's hiking. There's trails. There's so many different lakes all around us. We haven't even visited all of them yet. We could just do that.
Yeah, I remember before we moved here, someone was saying that there's like 7 major waterfalls within driving distance.
Right.
Driving distance, like anywhere from 2 hours in. Yeah, from 2 hours in, there's 7 major waterfalls.
I think there's more than that. We should know
the
this.
Nashville area. I'll have to look it up. Maybe you can look it up. But yeah, and so we visit those in the summer and the fall. They're both majestic, and most of them you can get in around the water and swim in them and stuff like that. It's pretty epic to be swimming underneath the waterfall, and that's just here.
Yeah, and then I feel like the restaurant scene kind of has lagged a little bit. But
for sure.
Just in the last year or 2 years, there's definitely been a boom in the restaurant industry. But that definitely has lagged compared to some other places. Again, I just don't think Nashville and the areas were ready for what was about to happen. But there's a big boom in that area. And like, we love to check out all the local restaurants and do that scene, even with the kids too. But yeah, there's just so much opportunity here. And with keeping more of your money as far as state income tax and lower property taxes, you can do more as a family compared to other areas. I mean, people are hurting right now. It's hard out there with the cost of everything and the cost of student debt and wages just not 100% keeping up. So even if you're like not in Nashville, I would say, if you're a young professional, you might not have a family yet. That brings more of like the Nashville vibe, but a lot of the families, it's starting to really spread out. Mm-hmm. And the roads still suck. I mean, traffic is a real thing. We were just talking about this with the chamber president in our town in Mount Juliet. A lot of people don't realize that even in Mount Juliet, those roads are run by the state and funded by the state, not by the city themselves. And so the approval process, all of it, the funding, it's hard. And it is an issue for sure.
The one cool thing I like about the state government running the roads is it's very fiscally responsible. So they pay for all of their roads in cash. So there's no deficit spending when it comes to the state budget to build for these kind of things. It doesn't happen. The improvements don't happen when we would like them or when we would need them or even before the event happens. But for the fact that our budget is being balanced, it kind of makes me feel a little bit happy when I'm sitting in traffic that that there isn't going to be some state level financial crisis because of the roads or something like that. So
pros and cons for sure.
Yep. And other things that I really look forward to as a part of living in the state is we touched on some of the natural features, but the fact that we've got the Cumberland River, which opens up all kinds of cool water sport activities between bass fishing and boating, and the Caney Fork River, where there's paddling, canoeing, and floating down on a tube. And we're not too far from the Smokies.
No, we're really not. And we go there.
The National Park.
We as a family probably only go there once a year, if that. But that's just because we're raising babies and running a business. But yeah, it's really not that far at all. And it's beautiful. And we love Dollywood. Definitely one of our favorite theme parks for sure. It's just so clean.
Yep.
And so family friendly. Yeah, there are just too many pros. People ask me all the time, do you see yourself living here forever? And the answer is yes, until my children move, and then I'll want to just naturally be close to them. But we'll see where they find their spouses and where they end up. But one literally just told me this morning she was never leaving Tennessee or my side. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, there's just so much opportunity here. And I'll speak to the real estate market specifically. Right now, the opportunity for buyers is incredible. Okay, for example, literally this happened last night. I had a listing agent send me a listing. Now, this home is located in Mount Juliet, which, the average list price right now is, well, because of all the new builds, is probably in the high 5s, low 6s. And it was a brand new house. Beautiful. It's going to be a beautiful neighborhood. It's going to have a pool. It's going to have a fitness center, walking trails, a park, which families love, especially young families. And she's like, this is the price of the home, but we're doing a deal this week where it's $20,000 less than this, and we're giving $15,000 towards closing cost. And if we go with our preferred lender, the interest rate was like 4.99%. So what we're talking about right there with a $20,000 reduction, that kind of interest rate, and no closing costs, because that's literally would cover all of your closing costs, that payment is so much more affordable with those three incentives. And that's with a new build. And because there is so much new build growth in our area, that's what's causing a lot of the resale listings to take a lot longer, because they're dealing with new builds, and their new builds are pushing a product, right? And so, but with that product, those are great incentives, which make my house way more affordable. Well, now let's say we go down the road to Sally and Joe, who are trying to compete with the new build, but they need to sell their house either because they got a new job, because people aren't selling right now unless they have to move for a job, maybe a divorce, maybe they had a baby, or maybe an elderly couple needs to move into, unfortunately,
assisted care.
Yeah, assisted care. Those are really the only reasons why people are moving right now. And like, we're negotiating all the closing costs, interest rates, buy downs, because they're willing to take it because they know that's what the new build is offering. And so they have to compete with that. And so buyers are winning in this market right now. And with the interest rate kind of staying high, even though it's not historically high, if it drops down into the 5%, guess how many more buyers rush into our market?
At least 100 more.
Okay, it's 5 million. 5 million
I said
more
at least
buyers
100.
in our market that can afford a house.
Yeah.
So what happens when that happens?
The price is going to go up.
The prices go up.
Yeah.
And so I know a lot of people are scared right now with the economy, and we're like, I'm not here to push anybody into home ownership, but if they actually can afford it,
you could get a screaming deal.
You can get such a deal right now, and yeah, they're just winning in this market. For sellers, unfortunately, it is a little bit harder with our listings. That's why I'm making them super nice. Pricing them very well. Matters so much. I mean, one of my listings, it went live last Friday. No, it went live Saturday, and by the next Saturday, we had 3 offers on it. And so it just depends. There's little markets all over in Nashville that are doing better than others too.
It's almost neighborhood by neighborhood.
Yeah, 100%.
And so let's talk expectation. I know you can't necessarily speak for your seller on that deal, but the multiple offer thing is pretty cool. Do you think that your sellers are satisfied with the price of the offer that they received.
Oh, 100%.
And the concessions that they had to make.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. So to me, it is neighborhood by neighborhood where you can still, there are examples of a really good buying deal and a really satisfied seller. Yeah. So I would say as of the time of this October, you'll get this sometime in October. Anyway, it's a fairly balanced market.
Yeah.
We've got examples on both sides.
It's definitely more on paper. It doesn't show that it's a buyer's market, but being a listing agent, it's a buyer's market.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Based off of your experience.
Yeah.
We're getting our buyers are getting their price reductions. They're getting concessions. Some people are getting screaming deals.
Yeah.
And
we're not afraid of, like, Blake and I, you and I are buying as many properties as we can right now. We actually hope to close on 2 houses before the end of this year. And so again, you can't be afraid of this market. You need to be educated about this market. And like Blake said, like, super specific all the way down to the neighborhood, because once you have those facts and once you have those teams, a team to help you navigate what that looks like, homeownership can be affordable. It's just a matter of being creative and having the right team with you. And but yeah, I mean, Nashville as a whole, as far as raising babies, starting jobs. I mean, there's so many entrepreneurs too. I mean, we just talked about the large companies.
That's really what gets me the most excited. It's people, because I have the people in my church that I love and I grow alongside, you know, my elders and my pastors that I get wisdom from on the direction that my life is going. My brothers and sisters in Christ that are doing life with me, and then everybody else outside that. There's so much growth that's happening here. I'm inspired by the stories of entrepreneurs that are building businesses and figuring out ways if there's some synergy there, seeing if there's any opportunity where we can help each other build each other's business and learn from each other on ways to grow our business, because this has been a season of growth for us, another season of growth. Like, we're growing so much and learning things about business management and hiring, leadership, and attracting talent. Right. And I don't think that it's difficult to say if we were in any other place, if that would happen at the level that it is. But we're here and it's happening really fast. Yeah. So that's what excites me. Is just the fact that there's this influx of talent and ambition coming into the area, and we get in touch with that and we feed off of that and build something faster. That's and I think that would be the case. I think that would be the case for most people. I think coming here, they would get in touch with that psyche, that movement, that motivation, that intangible spirit that's happening here.
If they allow themselves to be around people.
Yeah.
I mean, and I hate to say that, but like the only reason why I bring that up is because we are, I think we're getting away from relationships in a lot of ways because they're messy. They're hard. And a lot of people, I mean, they're just wrapped up in their phone. And just how hard life is, running a business or working a 9-to-5, and then all the kids' sports, everything. Like, sometimes you just stay siloed in just survival mode. But with that being said, we're of the kind of like, okay, who can we meet? What can we learn? How can we grow? How can we help? And we've I don't know if we're just lucky, but we've been able to connect with a lot of people that are of that same mindset. Yeah. And that is huge. And it's really helped us plant roots here and grow as a young family that we were when we moved here. And then, I mean, there's still a lot of, you know, red, white, and blue, and In God We Trust, and the Bible Belt, which also has its pros and its cons.
Mostly pros, though.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, we love raising our family. So, all that to be said, I feel like if you're thinking about moving to Nashville and you're wondering what door it opens for you, connect with somebody that's doing life here, who's raising a family, who's doing the hard, is in this lifestyle day in and day out. And we know real estate. So seriously, anybody that's thinking about, hey, like I have conversations weekly with people, and we call it a discovery call. And they're like, hey, we're thinking about moving to Nashville in 6 months, a year, maybe 2 years. What is it like? If I were to homeschool my kids, what does that look like? What does the public school system look like? You know, all these questions. And we're here. We are an open book. We can talk about our experiences. And if you have other questions outside of our knowledge, then we know people that we can connect you with.
Yeah, we are so happy that this is where we landed. And as we're talking about how excited we are, I want to say, Lord, please let us stay, because we've done a lot of moving around. But
yeah, we have.
This is where we want to stay. And we hope that you enjoyed this episode of The Doors That We've Opened. Hope that you learned a little bit more about the place that we call home. Hopefully it excited you and you learned something. And if you want to explore a little more about it, give us a DM and we'll talk. Maybe you want to come in for a visit, do a hangout, or maybe you're thinking about buying some real estate, and we'd love to help you with that. So thanks for joining us.
So thank you for listening to today's episode on The Doors We've Opened. We hope that it was a blessing and an encouragement, and we hope that by telling our stories, you can learn from it and it can be an inspiration for you.